hair care products and toothpaste is not going to have chemicals in it. Okay, so those are very important. We are the largest online wellness shopping club in North America that manufactures their own products. So they manufacture all of their own products. They're all wellness products. We've got over 1 million customers that shop with us every month. We've been customers for 15 years. We've had customers in our group for the whole 15 years that we've been customers. And that in itself is where the residual income comes from, because we know we're going to get a paycheck month after month after month. And we did over $1.3 billion in annual sales last year, and I know Trina alluded to the fact, or Jade, that we are also triple members of the BBB, who I used to work for, so I know how important that is to have that kind of a rating with the Better Business Bureau. So, what I'm here to talk to you about a little bit though is our bank. It's a way to increase your sales up to 300%. And I call it sales, but it's sales and influence. How you connect with people. How you connect with your customers. How you connect with the client. How you connect with your neighbor. How you connect with your spouse. How you connect with your kids. Okay? The BANG methodology is really, really important. We'll talk about the 300% and why I think that you can probably increase your sales by 300%, but it's about the connections. So I'll talk a little bit about the secrets, the science, the system, and the solution. So there's 4 points that I'm going to jump on. And like I say, this is not about sales. This isn't a traditional sales method or a sales course. It's about how you connect and how you present yourself to the client, because it's the client that is the one that has to believe that what you've got is really a benefit to them. Okay, just a little bit of quick numbers from, I'm standing in your way, I think. No? Quick numbers from Salesforce.com. By the numbers, 67% of the traditional salespeople out there miss their quotas. That's a pretty devastating amount, especially if you're a true 100% commission salesperson. Part of the reason is that 87% of them are unprepared when they go into a sales meeting or a sales demonstration. What that means, really, is 66% of the customers that they're connecting with are really turned off by that salesperson or what they're presenting to them. 66% of them. Now think about that if you're walking into a car dealership or real estate, or it doesn't matter if you're trying to sell a solution for your electrical company. It doesn't matter what it is. We've already heard about Robert Kiyosaki, and I'll quote him three times through here, because the Rich Dad system is a phenomenal one, and the ability to sell is the #1 skill in business, according to Robert. So we've all been told, and I'm sure that any of you have been involved in network marketing business before, this is particularly true. The more no's that you get, the closer you are to a yes. Has anybody ever heard that term? Right? Look at the hands in the room. Just about everybody has. Because the training that they give you and the mentorship that they give you is, generally speaking, just get on the phone all your friends and relatives and neighbors and everybody you know, and it doesn't matter if you even know them, pick up the phone and call anyway. Go through the yellow pages, whatever it is, because the more no's that you get, the closer you are to a yes, because they really believe that sales is a numbers game. Well, what if there was a proven way where you could get a yes? Wouldn't that make you feel a lot better? Most people quit, especially in the network marketing business, most people quit because they get too many no's and not feeling good about it. Right? So what if there was a proven way where you could get more yeses? A really interesting stat by the Word of Mouth Marketing Association. They say that the best salesperson outsells the average salesperson 57-1. So that's not the best salesman and the worst salesman, that's the best and the average. Okay? Now I don't know which end of the scale you'd rather be on, but I know that 57 is where I'd rather be, not on the one part of that scale. Okay? And it's really true, because if you look at this, does the best salesman work 57 more hours than the average one? Do they generate 57 more leads than the average one? Do you think that they see 57 more people than the average salesperson? Or do they get 57 more no's than the average salesperson? The best salesperson does not have time for that many more cycles in their day. But they have figured out a way. They have figured out a way to service their client properly, to sell to a specific person and a specific personality. Okay? Because everybody makes a buying decision differently. And the good salespeople know how, and they've been able to connect with people properly. So I really tell you that it's not a numbers game at all, it's a people game. Brian Tracy says, all business is a people business. Very, very true. And this quote here, I just absolutely love. Jim Piccolo says, every business has two things in common, people and sales. And if you think about that, it doesn't matter if you're an electrician, a carpenter, somebody who sells widgets on the internet, it makes no difference. There's two things that you need in absolutely every business, people and sales. They're the basis of everything, okay? So, do you think it's possible for one idea to change the world? By a show of hands, or somebody pop up, what is an idea over the last 50 years or 100 years that maybe has changed the world? Yes, Carrie. The internet. Bert?
The computer.
Computer. That's right.
Mass production.
Mass production. Facebook. LinkedIn. There's tons and tons of ideas out there. The computers, of course, are one. Automobiles. We're just over 100 years into the automobile, right? And look at what we're doing now. We're next thing you know, we're going to have, we just put in a car, go to sleep, and let it drive itself, right? So, if there's one idea that's changed the world over the last 100 years, do you think that there might be one idea out there that could change your world, your sales world right now? Well, I propose that there is. And that system, and you can see some information over there, you can come and see me after the presentation, that system is called BANK. B-A-N-K, personality-based, people-focused, profit-driven. And it actually stands for blueprint, which is a blue color, obviously, action, which is a red color, nurturing is yellow, and knowledge is green. Just going to tell you a little bit about our founder, because this lady is just a genius. She actually founded bankcode.com, multiple seven-figure income earner, and I'll tell you why that's important in a second. Author and creator of the bank methodology, award-winning international authority. Before bank, her income, oh, I think I missed something here. I'll continue on, slides might catch up to me after a while. Before bank, she was a financial advisor, and I'm sure there's some financial advisors in the room. She said the first year that I was a financial advisor, I made $700. She said, do you think I lived very highly on that? I couldn't even drink water and eat crackers for the whole year. So after 5 years, she had built this up to about $72,000, and she said, I know there's something more out there because I work very, very hard. I know that I can do better than this. And so she was actually a trainer in one of the personality assessment tools that I'll mention in a minute. And she designed Bank because she understood that if she actually was able to connect better with her clients, she had a much better chance of closing a sale. After using Bank for 1 year, 695% increase in her sales. Okay, over $500,000. Within 3 years, she was over $1 million, and she's been $1 million earner for probably about 14 years now, because Bank was designed and brought to the marketplace 16 years ago. She's been invited to speak around the world, shared the stage with millionaires like Robert Kiyosaki, with Sir Richard Branson. And if you look at just off to the right of Richard Branson, she's standing there with the Bank membership guide. And so she's a very, very well-renowned speaker at Harvard University, invited by Harvard Extension Division. She's actually a guest professor there. University of California and UC Berkeley Business School, Haas Business School. And this is really important because what happened was that Dr. Ryan Howell at the University of San Francisco did a really extensive study on how bank was able to help people connect better and be better salespeople. And he, in this whole white paper that they published, just published in May of this year, actually comes out and shows us that with the bank methodology, you can actually predict people's buying behaviors. Very, very powerful. So, a little bit about the science of bank. Okay, like I said, we've got personality-based, people-focused, profit-driven. I'm sure that there's some of you in the room that have seen slides like this before. You know, we've got 4 temperaments: blueprint, action, nurturing, and knowledge. They all have a specific color. And the temperaments is not something new. Greek physician Hippocrates incorporated that theory way back in 400 BC because he knew that if he treated people differently with his 4 temperaments, he had a much better chance of success with them. Okay, so it's been around for centuries and centuries. And millions of people have taken some sort of a personality assessment before. I'm sure if, actually, I'll take a show of hands. Has anybody ever had a DISC training, Myers-Briggs, color code, any of those kinds of things before? So a lot of people have had those. And Sherry Tree was actually a certified DISC trainer, but she thought there was something really missing in what she was doing. So when she designed bank, she said, I want to design it so that people can get a benefit and identify how they make their buying decisions. Rose and I are a different personality type. And if she goes to buy something, it's totally different research than I do. Totally different. And a salesman might connect with her and not with me, depending on how they present it. So everybody makes their buying decisions differently. And Albert Einstein said, any fool can complicate things. It takes a genius to simplify them. And that's the whole genius behind what bank has, because it's a simple system for people to use. It's easy for me to teach you the basics of it. It's a simple system to use to be able to talk to folks one-on-one or in groups. And the missing link, like I say, has always been this little bag of cash on the edge of whatever their personality code might be. So, I've got a little thing in my pocket that I got to pull out here. So the whole idea is to crack the personality code and what we call take it to the bank. Okay. Now, how many people have ever seen the movie or read the book, The Da Vinci Code? It's an old movie. It's been around a long time, but it's got some very, very strong implications to what we're doing, because in that movie, the whole idea was for the person to unlock the cryptex and find the secret to the Holy Grail that was inside, right? And so the cryptex is made up of 2 words, cryptology and codex. And the cryptology part is the locking up of secrets, information. And the codex part is the scroll that's inside of it. Now, the whole theory in the movie was that you had to be able to crack the code, because inside of that cryptex there was a scroll that was wrapped around a little vial of vinegar. And if you did it wrong, you broke the little vial of vinegar and poof, you had nothing left afterwards. So even if you got to the scroll, there was nothing on it. How many of you have been sitting across the table from somebody in the sales process and everything seemed to be going really well, they were agreeing with you on everything, they just about got down to the point of buying, and all of a sudden they said, no, I'm sorry, you just broke the vial of vinegar. You just destroyed that sale. Okay, every one of us, I'm sure, can think of a time when we did that. And you don't want to be doing that anymore. That's what we want to be teaching you a little bit about. So imagine, if you will, that in this little cryptex, okay, I didn't open it up, but there's my scroll. Inside of this cryptex, absolutely every person that you meet has one of these invisible devices either in their pocket or hanging around their neck or something like that. And it's got the secret in there of what to say to get a yes instead of a no. Do you think that would be a powerful thing to know? Absolutely. So that's a little bit about the cryptex and the Da Vinci Code and getting it opened. And Tony Robbins says, let your prospect determine your presentation. So we're going to talk a little bit about how your presentation needs to be delivered and how it needs to be tailored to the person you're talking to. Because if I'm an action personality, for instance, and everything has to be done really quickly and that kind of thing, and I'm talking to a blueprint personality who has to know exactly all the details, we're not going to connect. We're just simply not going to connect. And the most common mistake that people make is they deliver the right presentation only 25% of the time. If you connect directly with somebody of your own personality, very likely you're going to be able to sell somebody on that because they have the same likes and dislikes as you, they have the same ideas. So that means you connect with 1 in 4 people. What happens to the other 3 people out of the 4? You need to figure out how to connect with those other 3 people properly. Because if you don't, not only are you not able to close, but you're not also able to put some extra money in your pocket for you and your family. And what often happens is that you're actually spoon-feeding your competition if you do this. Because what happens is that if they're in the mode of buying a car or buying an iPhone or whatever they're buying, they're going to go there and they're going to buy it from somebody. If they don't connect with you, they're actually going to go to your competition and get it there. So it's very important that you connect properly. Really quickly, the opportunity cost. Think of sales as this way. If your income was $72,000 this year, and it doesn't matter what number you put in here, you can use this formula and wherever you are in your business, and you multiplied your present income times 3, so 300% of what you're making right at the moment. There's what your extra income would be. Now that's for 1 year. So some of you are pretty young folks in this room, some are a little older like myself. So there's different time frames that you might be in the selling mode or as a salesperson. So we're going to take an average of 20 years remaining in sales. So using this formula, this is the amount of extra money that you would get over the next 20 years if you were to use a formula that was going to work for you, like Bank can. We're going to be running some workshops on Bank. I'll tell you when the workshops are in a minute. But you can actually take that to the bank. It's not just an acronym. So a little bit about mastering the science of communications. I'm not going to talk a lot about this. If you were a blueprint personality code, you could connect with another blueprint quite easily. However, if you're a blueprint personality code, you have to learn how to basically speak another language. Okay? Be able to connect with the action personality of people that you're talking with. If you're able to do that, you can increase your sales by 100%. Add another language to your repertoire, and guess what? If you're now connecting with the nurturer in your prospect in your group, then you're able to increase your possibility by 200%. And if you can connect with and learn all 4 languages, then you have a 300% chance of increasing your sales by that amount. So a phenomenal way to be able to do that. So a little bit about the system. I'm going to briefly talk about each one of these categories. And if you'll bear with me for just a second, I want to put on my glasses that will make me a blueprint to start with, folks. Because this is about looking at people with different colored glasses on. So if you look at this screen, do you think a blueprint, just by the color and by the name blueprint, do you think that a blueprint is inside the box? Do you think that they have to have everything laid out in front of them by never making any mistakes or risks or anything like that? Do you think they're inside the box? Absolutely. The blueprint person is absolutely inside the box. Okay? And you can tell a blueprint lots of times by just simply by the kind of business they do or the career that they're in. So you don't have to be a magician to figure out a lot of what people are. Because a blueprint has the 12 basic values: stability, structure, systems, planning, processes, predictability. I'm not going to run through them all. But as you can see, who do you think might be a good blueprint person? What do you think their job might be? Policemen, military, probably accountants, probably financial planners often are blueprint. So you automatically know by asking a question or two what their job is, and very likely what their primary code is. So it goes so far as to be able to read people even right from the greeting. They'll give you a nice firm handshake, right? They may do something like, if you were to hand them a bottle of water, they might say, how do you know this bottle of water is safe? Has the manufacturer actually gone through all of Health Canada's systems and made sure that we're not getting something in here that's going to be harmful for us? Because a blueprint does not like risk. They do not like risk of any kind. They want to stick by the rules. This is good water, by the way, so. They want to stick by the rules all the time. Jeff Hogan, a financial advisor, I'd like to just point out the verbiage that this fellow uses, because we're all about, whether you do business online, whether you do business face-to-face, or wherever you're doing business, if you think about the verbiage you use to connect with people, we're able to do that even in blogs or Facebook advertising, any of that kind of stuff, okay? He says, I was skeptical at first, but I followed the step-by-step systems and closed 100% of my next 8 clients. This gave me a track record I could bank on. He really was skeptical. Blueprints are skeptical. They want to know all the details. But he earned $50,000 in his next 90 days. So do you think he was a real believer in the bank system? Absolutely. So we need to change classes here. And this is a little outlandish, but it's the best I could do. Now, an action personality is totally different than the blueprint. You have to understand that they've got to do things really fast. They like fast cars. Everything has to be done quickly, and they want to be dressed to the T. They want to be the ones that are standing in front of people talking, right? So, do you think that they're inside the box? Absolutely not. They're not inside the box. They're little firecrackers. They're everywhere. If you walk into a networking group, you can pick out the action people really quickly. They've got a bunch of people around them. They're talking the loudest. They're dressed the fanciest, and you know right away what their personality code is. Absolutely. So these people value freedom, flexibility, spontaneity, action, opportunity, excitement. Okay? Attention, stimulation, competition, winning, fun, and image. And here's one that's really important to action people, is winning. A sales tip, if you're an action personality type and you're presenting to another action personality type, the one thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to dress better than them. You don't want to show them up in any way, shape, or form. So it would be a bad connection if you were better than the person you're dealing with. Okay? Greetings, high fives. They don't believe in handshakes. High fives is the only thing that counts. Okay? This young lady we met when we were in Las Vegas at one of the conferences, She says, bank is a total game changer. Using the simple, fun system allowed me to crush my sales and laugh my way to the bank. Okay, Yancy actually changed her name legally to unequivocally because she wanted to be the only one in the world with that name. And if you were to bring out your bottle of whatever kind of liquid you've got in here to an action personality, the only thing they would say is it Red Bull or is it beer? They don't care what the composition is as long as it's something to do with fun and spontaneity. Oh, these things are falling off. And Yancy, a business owner in Hawaii, by the way, she owned her own business, increased her income by $250,000 in just 18 months. So we got one. Now we turn to the nurturing personality. They look at everything through yellow colored glasses. Everything is sunshine. Everything is sunflowers. They got a heart of gold. They are people that really care about other people. There's no doubt about that. Do you think that what do you think they do with the box? They recycle the box. Either that or they decorate it with flowers and give it to a friend. Right? It's all about teamwork. It's all about how people connect. And the nurturers are great at building teams. You'll find that a lot of network marketing people are actually nurturers because they want to connect with people. They want to be able to, the relationships are extremely important to them. Relationships, authenticity, personal growth, significance, teamwork, involvement, community, charity, ethics, harmony, morality. And I will tell you that a nurturing person will be your very best friend, but don't ever cross them. Because what happens with a nurturing person, they've got a wide network of people. Their network is phenomenal. And if you cross them, if you tell them a lie, if you don't produce what you're going to produce, guess what? They're going to tell their whole network of people. Okay? And you won't do business with any one of them afterwards. And if you hand them a bottle of water, they will probably want more so that they can pass it on to their friends. At least they'll want to share your bottle. They'll ask if they can share it with you or not. So nurturing people are extremely, if you look at how they always greet people, right? They give you hugs. So there's lots of indications as to, without even asking people a question, you can figure out what their primary personality code is. Probably even their primary and secondary. With a couple of 3 questions that's thrown in, you can probably figure out what all of their codes are and in what sequence they are. So very powerful when you're dealing with people, obviously. And every business has people. Free hugs. Nani Gomes, direct marketing person out of Hawaii. She had a very powerful story. I wish I had time to tell the whole story, but she used the bank methodology not only in her business, but she used it with a young mom, a single mom, and her teenage grandson, her teenage son, sorry. And what happened was her teenage son had tried to commit suicide twice. And he was being bullied at school a little bit. Basically what she did was she sat down with the mom and the teenage son, taught them the bank methodology, and simply saying it started to open up their eyes to as what they could do with one another and why they acted the way they were. And it also helped the son be able to connect with and know what other classmates were like and why they acted the way they did. And it's completely changed their life. If you hear her story, it's completely changed her life, and that wasn't to do with making money. However, Nani made $32,000 in 1 week doing a bank presentation for a whole group of our network marketing people. So, the last one that we're going to talk just briefly about is the knowledge personality. These are the smartest people in the room. There's no doubt about it. The smartest people in the room. Unfortunately, sometimes they also tell you they're the smartest people in the room. Right? Because if you think about it, what did they do with that box? They say, well, there wouldn't be a box if I didn't engineer it and manufacture it. Right? So they are very smart people, there's no doubt about it. A marketing tip for knowledge personality type people is that you cannot sell a knowledge person on anything. You have to give them enough information, enough stats, so that they convince themselves and they will buy it from you. Okay? If you try a hard sell on a knowledge personality, you're out to lunch. Finished. So some of their values: learning, intelligence, logic, self-mastery, technology, research development, science, universal truths, expertise, competence, accuracy, big picture. If you think about what kind of careers would these folks have? Well, generally speaking, they're engineers, they're computer scientists, they're people that have designed our space program. I mean, they are very smart people, and we need those kinds of people. That's for sure. So you know that that's the kind of business that they're in. Here's their greeting. Yeah, you can do that. I can't. I'm not even going to attempt that nano thing. Unfortunately, Dr. Spock. Pardon? Oh, there you go. Thank you. Unfortunately, Dr. Spock passed away about 1.5 years ago, and so he's not with us anymore. But you know, I had something that happened to me that I still can't quite believe. You know, we talk about nurturers being huggy, they want to connect with people, they want to pull you in. And knowledge people are completely different. Knowledge people want you to have a space. They don't not want to get into your personal space. And I had a person one day at a networking event that just absolutely blew me away. I went to shake hands. Put your hand out to shake. They pushed their card into my hand and moved back. They didn't even shake my hand. Did I know right away that they were a knowledge person? Absolutely. I wouldn't have tried to give them a hug, I'll tell you that. So, Yoram Waldmester, a high K personality. This fellow, we heard his story right from his mouth. He was doing calculus and high-end math with university students when he was 8 years old. Just an absolute brain. He had his own IT consulting business, and he says, this gave me a quantum leap advantage in business from every other program I've studied. This course is absolutely a no-brainer. And he made $30,000 within 15 minutes negotiating the sale of his business, because he understood the person that was across the table from him that he was negotiating with. So, what's your code? That's the million-dollar question. BANK. I liken this to your PIN code. If you walk up to an ABM machine, you stick your card into the ABM machine, what do you need? You need a 4-digit PIN code, correct? Does it have to be in the right